Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over our daily technical analysis update of oil, natural gas, and solar. We're going to jump right into the charts. Again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. Be responsible for your own trades. And here we go. We're going to start with West Texas Intermediate crude, like crude oil. So what we've got on the right-hand side here, we had kind of a move higher, a bearish engulfing pattern, which ended up in, usually when you've got wicks at the bottom like this, it's a reversal candlestick to try to move on up. It's not a huge hammer pattern or any pattern like that, so I'm still kind of neutral on it. I can't say that this pullback is broken yet, but it's not a strong pullback. We're kind of just meandering sideways at the moment. Let's see what the rest of the week brings us. I don't have much of a direction here on the short term. And looking at natural gas, it looks like we've got a hammer pattern with the wick at the bottom. Usually that means we want to come on back up. But again, I'm kind of just looking at this overall pattern. I'm looking for something to squeeze down, and it is squeezing down into this tip. If it's slightly, we'll call it, no, that didn't do it. If we're, this is kind of what I'm seeing here. And not that I don't really trade the short term here, guys. I kind of just hold on, but I'm kind of looking at something like this, where we're kind of coming into a point. It's slightly tilted downward, which means it's a bullish pattern to maybe continue higher, hopefully. But that's what I'm seeing there on the short term. SM Energy, we still have this large down day. We had a sell-off today, but it was bought back up. Kind of neutral on it right now. With this big down day in front of it, it still could potentially pull back a little more. I think it highly depends on what oil is going to do. We saw Centennial Development with the same type of pattern. It's got good resilience here. It's got good support underneath it, so it could move on up if the price of oil and natural gas allow it to. And Callon Petroleum's remained pretty resilient up here as well, even with this large down day here. And usually when you see this, you've got a large down day, and then you've got these up days that come right up next to it, and then it gets hit again to the downside with this stronger selling pressure day and small, weak buyers coming through here. It's possible. Now, Sandridge, on the other hand, looks pretty solid. Bullish engulfing pattern here. We're coming on up. Nice big buying pressure, smaller selling pressure. Still looks pretty good. We have a bearish engulf in there. We'll see if we can get through this resistance up here. Move on up. Comstock. Again, guys, I'm just looking. Oops. Well, that's not gonna. Sometimes my computer does that. What I'll do is I'm gonna copy this and throw it into Paint. What I see here, is are we kind of contracting down there? Just like the other chart, and here's your flagpole. And we want it to be slightly biased to the downside, so you can't really go from this point forward. We'll see which way this thing breaks for Comstock. Southwestern Energy, again, I like the big buying pressure and then the smaller selling pressure. It consolidated here. Hopefully we can get some momentum to the upside here. That one doesn't look horrible. This is more selling pressure through here. Here it changed. It's all buying pressure and smaller down days. So I think we're probably going to continue up. Here's Southwestern on a weekly candlestick basis. I'm just looking at the size of the candlesticks and the relationship of buying pressure to selling pressure, which is just how big the candlesticks are. You want to see big buying candlesticks and small selling candlesticks through here. And you can kind of see it on the side through here. Doesn't look horrible. It's kind of neutral. Tellurian, it looks like it's trying to find its footing right around here. Looks a little bit better than this sell-off before it. Grand Tira Energy, big buying pressure, small selling pressure through here. Looks okay. Looks okay. Tetra Technologies, we kind of broke through this trend line through here to the downside. We could see a little bit further downside out of it. And this is Invesco Solar. We could have a little bit of a pullback, but we've got support right underneath that 92.50. So our support's down here. And then Beam looks the opposite. It looks like this could potentially move on up with support right underneath it as well. SunPower looks good. We usually what happens is you got good buying pressure coming up, and it goes sideways for the selling pressure, and then it resumes higher. This is just a kind of a pennant flag formation to move on up. Sunworks continues to move lower. It looks okay, but if we keep making lower lows, it's still in the downtrend. Has not broken. SOL, it's trying to break through this resistance area at like 10, and it can't do it yet. Let's see what happens. Bullish engulfing here. Fuel cell looks like it could potentially pull back, a little bearish engulfing. Would I put it into a free ride? That's up to you guys right here. This might be a free ride opportunity if you've been riding it up from the 6-7 range. Put it into a free ride and let the profits ride. Plug still looks pretty good. We got support underneath it at 35. Still looks okay to me. So overall, oil and natural gas, I'd like to see some follow through with oil if it's going to go higher. I'd like to see the buyer step in and push it on up. But overall, pretty neutral on it. I'm pretty neutral on all of these sectors at the moment. Solar looks good, probably the best out of the group. If natural gas, if we can see some buying pressure to come in underneath these, we'll call it kind of hammer patterns on oil and natural gas, I'd be much more bullish. They're still not very large, and we still have some large down candlestick selling pressure before it. I don't know if that's resolved yet, and that's what I'm seeing in the charts. It could still get hit to the downside and give back some. But if the buyers come in here and just kind of stomp it and moving on up here, then I'd be a lot more bullish on it. So I'm kind of neutral at the moment for natural gas and oil on the very short term. Huge bull on the medium term and long term. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.